Hey everyone, I'm Leila. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, we are going to be doing something a little different. So I've had a few people on my Instagram ask me about doing some study videos, so I decided to do my very first one today. I am going to be showing you guys how I revise. I have a range of different revision methods that I am going to be showing you guys today. I never just use one because they each have their pros and cons. For each of my revision methods, I will be explaining what it is, how I go about using it, what I use it for, and any extra information. Please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications. Let's get right into it.
It goes a little something like
I have my notes right in front of me over here, so if you see me looking down, that's just because I'm looking at my notes. So there are a range of different online resources that I use. I find it very helpful just in this modern day and age. The first one that I use is Quizlet. Now I'm sure you've all heard of it before. Quizlet is a site that enables you to essentially quiz yourself. It is one of the best sites for remembering and storing information. How it works is you can either create a set or learn a set that somebody else has already made. I usually prefer to create my own set. Although it can be pretty time consuming, it has all the information that I need. When you create a set, you write down the term and definition for each, and then Quizlet tests you. There are so many different options that you can pick for testing. You can learn your terms, go through online flashcards, write out each term or definition, play a matching game, and finally testing yourself. For most of my sets, I prefer to learn and then test. What I love about all these options is that Quizlet recognizes how familiar you are with certain terms and definitions, so it will test you accordingly. You can also see your progress percentage and how many more terms you need to know to have mastered the set. I use Quizlet for a range of different subjects. The most obvious one is probably language vocab, but throughout my time using this site, I've actually found it to be so useful for other subjects such as sciences and more. Quizlet also allows you to file your sets, so I am super organized there. You can either use the website or download the app. The website has a lot of features that the app doesn't have, and the app has a lot of features that the website doesn't have, so it's up to you to decide which one works for you best. Sometimes I like to switch between them. I used to buy a ton of paper flashcards and it was just not good for the environment at all, and it just requires so much storage, so I switched to Quizlet and it made life so much easier. Trust me, you need to download Quizlet right now. Next, we have Hegarty Maths. As you would have guessed from the title, this website is specifically for maths. Maths is not my forte, so when it comes to finding revision sites, this is the best of the best. All you have to do is choose a topic and then it will come up with a video and a quiz. If I have forgotten a certain skill, then I will watch the video, but if I am more or less confident, then I will just go straight to the quiz. The best way to practice full maths is by practicing questions of a varying difficulty, so I tend not to dwell too long on the video and instead jump straight into the questions. What I like about Hegarty Maths is it gives you 2 chances to type in the answer, so if you get it wrong the first time, you can always learn from your mistakes. As the quiz goes on, the questions definitely get harder, so if you get stuck at some point, it will allow you to watch the video from a certain point where the guy in the video comes across a similar question and you can work through it together step by step. Hegarty Maths leaves me feeling super confident before a test, as I know I've perfected every skill there is. So as I mentioned previously, I don't feel the need to use paper flashcards that often as much as I used to because of Quizlet, but I still definitely use them for a lot of certain things. For example, if I have written a table down in my notes that I need to memorize, that's when I will use flashcards. If I need to memorize certain conjunctions for a language, that's when paper flashcards will come in handy. I take subjects such as Mandarin and Greek, and that writing system is entirely different, so I will definitely use paper flashcards because quite often you need to be able to write out the letters. Like most people, I write my flashcards with the question on the front and the definition on the back. Try to condense them as much as possible. Just put the keywords on there so that you can actually understand it and be able to form a sentence. Flashcards can be pretty time consuming, so don't spend ages trying to make it look pretty with different colors of pens and highlighters. It is a waste of time. One thing I will say though is that I always highlight keywords that are going to get me the mark in the question so it gets stuck in my head. In terms of flashcard storage, I like to store my flashcards in this box. It has different dividers for each subject so nothing gets mixed up. If I need to take some flashcards to school, I have a really useful flashcard holder/divider. Both of these storage items are from WH Smith. Then we have pre-written flashcards. Pre-written flashcards are not essential. A lot of people actually fall into the trap by using pre-written flashcards as their main revision method. This is such a bad idea because a lot of the time the pre-written flashcards don't contain the necessary information that you need in order to pass that test. Instead, I use pre-written flashcards as a side revision method for my exam. So I will always have flashcards of my own, either on Quizlet or on paper, containing all of the necessary information that I need. After I am confident with all of that information, I will then bring in the pre-written flashcards. I use the CGP version as I understand their content the best, but there are so many other great brands out there that make really good flashcards as well. Pre-written flashcards are like mini exam questions. One of the best ways to revise for a test is to do lots of mini exam questions, so if you are on the go, that is the right time to be using these as they are very portable. I just take flashcards out of the pack that are relevant to the subject that I am studying and then put them in my flashcard holder ready for the go. This allows me to have as much time as I can to practice questions. The only bad thing about this is that you can't exactly do the same exam question too many times, otherwise you're not really testing yourself, so I have to limit myself. So this is a very specific method to me, so I'm not sure how many people use it. I mainly use it if I don't have much time to revise or if my test is the next day. How it works is I write my notes and then record myself repeating them in chunks. Sometimes I like to use my own words to test myself and see if I really know what I'm saying. The first time I recorded, I'm obviously very unfamiliar with the context, so I am reading it off the paper. Then I play the recording again and listen to myself by going through the notes at the same time. Then I record myself again, repeat the process, and slowly become more confident with the content. I don't use this method when I have more time to revise because it feels kind of rushed and the information doesn't stick with you for long because it is kind of being forced into your brain. For this one, I may or may not have forgotten to hit the record button, so we're just going to do it all over again on my computer. I apologize in advance for the crappy camera quality, but we're just going to get on with it anyway. So, this revision technique I mainly use if I want to recap the topic as a whole, or if there is something specific that I'm not clear on. It is not generally an effective revision method. The best thing to read is a textbook just because it contains factual information that you can actually trust and is specific to you. Most people read their school textbook, which is actually fine, but I prefer CGP books. I have my own version of each subject, and as I said before, I just understand the content more. I find the relevant chapter and read out loud. I always read out loud because it really helps get the information into my head. I read slowly, which gives my brain time to process information, and if I'm not sure about a sentence, I will go back and read it again. I like to read at the beginning of my revision time just so I can recap the topic as a whole. Often when reading from a textbook, there will be some questions nearby covering the topic that you just read, so I like to have a go at those. You can also read websites, but you need to make sure these websites are trustworthy and up to date. I only really use BBC Bite Size as it is just very specific to the information I'm looking for, and there are always videos and quizzes alongside it. There is not that much that I can honestly say about note-taking because everyone has their own style. I either handwrite my notes or do my notes electronically. If I were to handwrite my notes, I have a book with lots of dividers in it for each subject, so that helps me to stay super organized. If I choose to do my notes electronically, then I like to write with my Apple Pencil. For me personally, I don't really like to type anything because my brain just finds it hard to process typed information. With all my notes, I make them super neat without spending too much time on them. I include pictures and diagrams to help me visualize things better. Note taking for me is not about learning the information, it's more about understanding it. I like to gather the necessary information from my notes in class and just write them down on a couple pieces of paper. That way I can understand it fully. Once I've done that, the next step is learning and quizzing. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. I really hope you guys got something out of it and learned some new revision tips. I just explained to you all of the revision methods that I use at the moment, but of course there are a lot more out there like post-it note sticking and videos, but these are just the current ones that I use in the moment, and of course I will update you in the future. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see more revision/study videos in the future. That's all for now. See you guys next time. Bye!